What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to this video that a fellow American made talking about her experience living in Europe and apparently how she was so impacted by her time living there that she made this post titled, "The Way We Live in America is Not Normal." Which, to be honest, that really caught my attention. The way we live in America is not normal. That's what she says. And so today, I really want to check out this video and learn about why her experience living in Europe has made such a big impact on her. And apparently, it's changed the way that she views the United States. So let's take a look at this.
As an American, there are some things that you can truly never fully understand until you leave the United States. I moved out of
Sure. I mean, that's a very common sense, kind of obvious thing to say that if you just live your entire life in one place, like so many Americans we do, like I've never been outside of the United States. So many of us here live our entire lives without ever traveling somewhere or experiencing other cultures or so yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we don't really think about very much here in the US, how we're really not exposed to other cultures and other ways of thinking and other ways of doing things. And sadly, we don't even necessarily think about that or think of that as a bad thing. So I absolutely agree with that.
the United States 2.5 years ago, and since then, there have been moments where certain things happen that completely and utterly break everything that I've ever known. And today,
What? So she said she left the United States 2.5 years ago? That is a long time to be living outside the US. I actually don't know anybody who's spent that much time outside the United States. That's pretty abnormal for an American, actually. So she has a very unique perspective. I really want to hear this. And this is obviously, just by the way she's talking, like about how she views the US now. Like her time in Europe has really made a big change in her. It sounds like it's opened her eyes somehow. Like how? Why? What?
one of those things happened. I'm currently living in Germany, and very recently, I just got a part-time barista job. It's completely a part-time thing, and
Oh shit. Okay, I was wondering about that. So specifically, I mean, honestly, it's a very American thing to say "Oh, they traveled to Europe," or "They spent some time in Europe," and it's like, I know, where you gotta be specific. Like that's incredibly broad. Europe is a very big place with lots of different countries, and it's like that's not the best way to say it, I think. So, okay, specifically, she's living in Germany and she got a job there. Okay.
just something for me to make some extra cash on the side. And I literally cannot even work more than 20 hours a week per my resident permit. And I haven't even started working yet, but there are some things about this job that have already broken me in a good way. As I'm in talks with the boss trying to get this job, I'm expecting okay, we'll do an interview or something and they can see if they like me or not. And the
Yeah.
boss emails me about they don't do an interview, they do a tryout day. And they're telling me
What? Really? I've never heard of that. That's not how it works here in the US at all. Here, like she said, we're expecting you go in and you're kind of going to have a hard time probably. Like, it's not a very enjoyable experience doing an interview and answering all the questions, and they're really like grilling you. They're really like trying to figure out if they want you as an employee, and especially in like this time in the US, like getting a job can be kind of difficult. Like, it's pretty competitive right now. So that's a big contrast with she's saying at her, I think she said like coffee or barista job in Germany. They, instead of like this tense like interview where they're like hammering you with questions, they want her to go in for a tryout day, which actually makes a lot more sense to me because it's like, how are you supposed to tell if somebody is a good fit or if they can do the job or what they're like if they don't ever get a chance to go in and do it? So I actually, I don't know if that's what this whole video is really about, but I didn't know that, at least in Germany. I like that.
Come in for the tryout day and see if you like it and if you fit in with the environment well. And when I went in for the tryout day,
See if you fit in with the work environment. This is like backwards to how it works in the US. This is like, wow. This is what she meant by like just the way you do things in Europe or in this example in Germany is like a different mindset. I don't know if this is the only thing she's going to talk about, but this is fascinating. Already, this is like a big difference in mindset. Like in the US, if you're trying to get a job, they're like, I don't know if you're the right fit. I don't know. We got to scrutinize you. We got to look at your resume. We got to ask all the questions. And it's very like judgmental and it's very focused on the company. Like, does the company want you? Are you going to fit in at the company culture? That's a big term in the US, the company culture. And I don't know, the way she's talking is like they're more worried if she is gonna like the job, if she feels like she fits in. It's more focused on her and what she wants, which is very different than how we do things here. It's kind of nice to hear.
and like all went really well and stuff, the boss asked me at the end, so like if you feel good about this job, like if you like it, if it suits you well and you think you might want to stay here, then just like write me an email and let me know by like Tuesday or whatever.
What? No way. This sounds amazing. What? It's so decent. It's so nice. It's so like they're asking her if she likes it, if she wants the job. Like here it's backwards. It's like you're like on your hands and knees like praying that they're going to let you in, and then they act like if you get the job, they act like they did you such a big favor and you should be so thankful, and they have to choose you rather than you choosing them in a way.
And they're not saying anything about like whether they even like me or not. Like all the focus seems to be on whether like I like the job and I want to stay there. Like I ended up having to ask like, well, do you like me? Like my German isn't so good, so like is it okay or is it like a problem? Like
Yeah, on top of it, she's American. Like, and she admits she's not like fluent German speaking. So, like the fact that they're being so nice to her even though like she's not even a native German and they're being this nice. Like, I guess this is just normal. I guess this is just normal for you.
like how do you feel like I fit in with the environment? And only then did I hear from the boss like that yeah, they liked me too. And then as we're going through the hiring process, like the first thing that they tell me is like, okay, the paperwork should be ready to sign in like 2 weeks. First things first, I need a little bit of information from you. And the first thing she asked me was, when do you want to take your vacation days this year? Literally.
What? What? Okay. Wow. So it sounds like this story, like one of the biggest things that impacted her about living in Europe and Germany and how it's different from the US is the experience of getting a job and how employers treat you and how so they ask like when you get hired they start asking about vacation days cuz oh my god, here in the US, like for one thing, you have to earn your vacation. Usually, you have to work a certain number of hours and build up your vacation days, like points, like hour. I don't know if that's normal, but that's how we do it here. That's and they they hope you kind of forget to take your vacation. To be honest, they never talk about vacation. They never remind you to use vacation. They don't want you to go on vacation here in the US. They want you to work. So, and that's just kind of the work culture that we're used to. We've accepted like as normal. And I don't know. This is such a good example of like it's not how it has to be. Like I think a lot of Americans, like her, like me, don't realize like there's better ways to do things. Like this sounds so much better.
The first thing that they asked me, guess how many vacation days I get for a part-time 20-hour-a-week barista job? I am allotted 36 vacation days.
What? 36? I have never heard of any American ever coming close to that here in the US. Like, I'm very familiar. Like, everybody knows who's worked here. It's like you're lucky to get 2 weeks and you have to earn it, like, unlock that. You have a, so that's like 10 to 14 days. How many did she said like 30 something? What? Is this right? Is this true?
Or 6 weeks in a 6-day work week schedule. 6 weeks. But the thing that broke me today was an email from my boss telling me that not only is it possible for me to go on the public healthcare system, but it's literally required for me to. For context,
Oh god, and we're gonna don't even get me started on healthcare. That's another thing that a lot of Americans we just kind of accept our healthcare system even though it's so terrible and I'm kind of familiar with like universal European Canadian healthcare system. That's another one that I know about. Like where it's taxpayer funded and everyone is covered and yeah, the way we do it is pretty insane. Um I'm starting to see why just living in Europe and just like getting a job and living your life like for Americans like her every single thing is like shocking and different. This is crazy.
this has never been possible for me before, and since I turned 25 and moved outside of the United States, I've only been able to have essentially travel insurance. And now through the German public healthcare system, I
Wow.
can pay into it and then see pretty much any doctor that I want to, as long as they have an available appointment for free or pretty much free.
What? I'm actually amazed at how accommodating um this is the German system is really accommodating to like foreigners and Americans like living there. Providing the healthcare and the benefits and the vacation and the job and there it doesn't sound like there's any discrimination or anything. It's like this is really awesome.
And the amount that you pay into it is like 100 euros a month. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years. And
Yeah. Oh my I can relate to this so much. In the US, it's really like uncommon to have dental insurance for a lot of jobs. So going to the dentist is really expensive and it's not Like, obviously, if you have tooth pain, you have to go in and get help, but for a lot of people, they skip the dentist. I mean, for a lot of Americans, they skip the doctor, like getting a yearly checkup because it's expensive, or like we don't really, a lot of people don't call ambulance or go in when they need help because of the fear of how much it will cost. Um, so yeah, this is very relatable. Like a lot of Americans haven't been to the dentist in like years.
I know that partially that's definitely my fault, but I literally through like the public health insurance, it's like required for you to go like twice a year. I was
Wow, this is pretty incredible, and this it's really cool that she made this video. Clearly, she's getting emotional from getting to go to the dentist, which maybe that's silly for like Europeans. It's like, what's the big deal? But for a lot of Americans, like a lot of us have to actively skip a lot of these like quality of life things, like getting your teeth looked at or fixed, or going to the doctor unless it's an emergency. Um, so it can be very emotional for people.
like kind of freaking out when I first got the email, and I was like texting my German friends so that they could like help me understand better, and because like I translated it, but I was like, I don't want this to be like a false translation or something.
Right. And I think it like for a lot of Americans, this sounds unbelievable. Like, what do you mean? Healthcare, dental care? What do you mean? Like, what's the catch? That's what Americans are thinking. Like, this is too good to be true.
Something and me get my hopes up for no reason. And they were like, congratulations, like, but I was like really overwhelmed by it, and they were like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, yeah, of course, anyone in Germany who makes more than like 600 euros a month, they automatically can go on the public health insurance. And they're asking me like, what, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Of course I could have like researched that, but like the thing is when you're socialized like as an American, like why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that?
It's a good point. That's a good point. And I think that's why she said at the beginning there are things that Americans don't even think about or know to think about until they travel somewhere, like travel to Europe and get this kind of exposure. Because it's so different. Like, yeah, exactly what she's saying. There are so many things we have accepted as normal here, especially with our jobs and our health, that, like, it's stuff we don't even question, really, when we really should. I think, unfortunately, a lot of Americans just don't know there are other ways of doing things. As stupid as that sounds, like we're that insulated or ignorant.
We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour-a-week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from it. Like,
Exactly. In the US, like, you don't get great benefits from good jobs. If you get healthcare coverage, that's like the number one most important thing. Um, and the US government has very little oversight over companies in the US, and they don't have to give you good benefits if you're working part-time, or so it's not even something we think of as possible.
Like, why would I have expected that? People who are not American will never understand that American systemically is so harsh and unforgiving and just cruel that it socializes you. If you're poor, if you're not wealthy, then it socializes you into having just an overall pessimistic mindset or having expectations that everything will be so difficult and or impossible that you should set your standards super, super, super low, like in hell, so that
Oh my God, yes! Go off! I agree with a lot of what she's saying. Although I would take it even a step further. Like she's saying that living in the United States conditions you to to have really low expectations, I actually think it's a step further than that. Like, if you grow up and live in the United States your whole life, it's not even that you have low expectations, it's that you don't have expectations at all. You are, your brain is conditioned to not even think about this as being weird. Like, we have a really bad healthcare system, and compared to the rest of the world, it sounds like pretty bad work benefits. But we're not all like sitting here like, I wish our healthcare was like Germany. I wish we had benefits like them or this or that. We're not even thinking that. We're not even getting to that point of thinking. We're just like, okay, yep, this is how life is supposed to be. Yep, okay, yep. This is just how it is. Like, we don't even question it. So, yeah, I actually would take what she is saying a step further for us.
That you can be easier to exploit. Why would I have ever thought to look something like that up? I'm used to a part-time job giving you nothing.
Yeah.
I'm used to public health care not even really existing. I'm used to literally
Oh, yeah, and she made that comment about, and this is all true, unless, and people are really suffering in the US, unless you're rich. In which case, like, that's the thing about the United States. It's actually really great if you're really wealthy. So I guess it's great for those people. For everyone else, there's a lot of pain and suffering that if we just like even tried to adopt some of these European ways of doing things, these systems or this healthcare system, we could do this like and alleviate so much pain, but we just don't. And it's not even like I said, it's not even something that people really complain about here or really talk about. We don't even think about it. That's the sad part. How is it ever going to change if we're not even talking about it?
everyone I love around me being like constantly in this state of like nervous system dysregulation because they're constantly in fear that if they have 2-3 bad months, then they're literally on the street. I'm used
Sure.
to seeing
Sure. For a lot of Americans, like I said, if you go to the hospital and you need a surgery or a treatment that's not covered by your healthcare insurance, your life could be ruined. Or if you don't have healthcare insurance, um, the sheer cost of certain things in the United States for healthcare, something you need, is insane. And you hear about people losing all their life savings and going bankrupt, and that can actually happen, and it's pretty terrifying for a lot of people.
women in abusive situations not be able to leave their husband because they will lose their health care or it will be too financially crippling for them and they are terrified
Sure.
of being homeless. I'm
Sure.
used to people working 2 to 3 jobs and still being so scared of not being able to make ends meet for their family.
This should not be normal. This is a really good video that she's making. I really like this because I think the biggest point she's making is there's a lot of problems in the US that we're not even talking about really, and it should not be normal.
I'm used to things being impossibly expensive. I'm used to things being intentionally made to be as difficult as possible to deter people from obtaining them. I'm used to things being unforgiving and uncaring and unhuman. Like I can't.
Sure, I think what she's getting at is like, it just sounds like in Europe and her experience in Germany is showing her like that you guys just have more empathy, more care for humans. Like literally like providing more benefits, more mental health and physical health and all this. Like, it just boils down to you actually care about the well-being of, people. Whereas in the US, that is not a priority, or at least money and wealth is a higher priority in the United States. It's a higher priority than the well-being of our people, which is pretty insane. That's a pretty insane way to look at it, and like how true that is, and that we just accept it.
Can't believe how easy it was for me to obtain the essential care that every human being needs and deserves just by serving a little bit of coffee. Like, of course, you can read and research about other countries like as much as possible, but there's some things that you don't fully understand until you leave the United States. I'm so angry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know about all this. Wow. And obviously she didn't know about all this till she went and actually experienced it.
And full of grief that our government and our society and media and whoever else has convinced us that the way that we live is normal. I'm currently writing a Substack article talking about all of the various things that I've learned that you can't really understand until you leave the United States. And so you guys can follow me there if...
Yeah. Her name is Key Lime Lana. And this was a very good video. This was, I mean, it's sadly kind of depressing, especially as an American, but I think it's necessary. Like, more Americans need to be upset about that. We need to be upset about this. Because this is just like showing how we don't have to live like how we do. Like, yeah, America's a first world country. Yeah, we have a lot of like luxuries, and especially if you have money, but there are so many fundamental things that are supposed to be like provided by the government. Like, that's a reason for having a government, so that they take care of you. That it's shocking, and this is not stuff that we learn about in school. Obviously, here in the US, we never talk about like our downfalls, the things that we're doing wrong. And it's sad because there's literally so many examples around the world. That today was like her example of Germany, where we could literally just follow your example and have better lives. We just don't. We just choose not to, or we don't know that it's possible. So yeah, this was eye-opening, to say the least. I think every American should see this and learn about this stuff, and we need to be having more conversations like this. This was crazy, but I like this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like, or leave a comment with your thoughts on her story of living in Europe and experiences and the comparisons to the US, and that'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to European things that I've never seen before or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.